Hello Year 4. Today in RE, you are going to evaluate the significance of identity for Jews and Jewish people. So, your first task is to look at these statements and based on what we know about Purim and identity, sort these in order from most important to least important for people celebrating Purim. If you're in doubt, look through the paperwork from yesterday, rewatch the video and think about all the areas about Purim that you would have uncovered. Once you've completed that, I would like you to explain why you think you have put each of those where they are. Why have you put one as the most important and one as the least important? What's the correlation and what's the importance between Purim and identity for Jewish people? So our next task is to really think about what is your identity. So we're looking at a lot of identity for Jewish people in Purim and why it's so important to them. And that's a very special time of year for them, taking place between the 25th and 26th of February. But what about yourself? What about you guys? How would you describe your identity to other people? So I'd like you to pause the video and just think, what identities can you list? What subheadings could you give yourself? Some of the ideas relating to identity, I have one here. Things that you like and dislike, that's really important to your identity because you're going to have strong opinions about something. You either really like it or you really don't. And that can make up a huge part of your identity. We've got here job. So you guys, most of you I'm sure, are not employed. Identity is quite important, say, for me, but then maybe the job you want to do is really important to your identity. Let's also think about gender. So, boy, girl, maybe you feel like you're neither of those, and that's okay, but how would you describe yourself? Why is that important to your identity? We've got here groups and clubs. So what do you do outside of school? What do you do inside of school? Where do you go? Do you have a sports team? Are you in a band? Do you have a book club? Things like this. Things that you would do that adds to your identity that you can say, that's mine, and I know not everybody in here has that, and that's okay. Your name. That's really important. That's how I would identify many of you. So not everybody has the same name, which is really helpful. And then some people do, but they have different surnames or different middle names. So your name is a big part of your identity. Religions. Do you have a faith? How important is it to you? How do you express this? Beliefs. Maybe it's not a religious belief, but you might have strong views that you think about. How does this make up your identity? The food you eat. Some of you might have very specific diets. Some of you could probably eat everything. Food, how important is it to how you would describe yourself? The clothes that you wear. When we're in school, we have a very particular set of clothes that we all must wear. However, once you're outside, what happens then? How does that affect your identity? How about what you look like? So we don't all look the same. We've all got different colour eyes, different colour hair, different length hair, facial hair. Not most of you, I hope. But there's loads of things about how you can look that reflect your identity. Some people take a lot of pride in how they look and what they look like. And your personality. Are you more outgoing? Are you more kind of quiet and shy? Maybe you don't like talking very much. Maybe you like talking a lot. How does your personality affect your identity? So, looking at this picture of this man right here, I'm going to ask you guys to draw yourselves and think about your identity. For example, I know for a fact that this gentleman here is a musician. How do I know that? He's holding a guitar. I'm pretty sure at some point he will play you a few notes. As I've just said, I know that this is a man. He's got a lanyard here with the word staff, so I know that he has a job, a career. I know that he's really looking forward to teaching. He really likes being in Year 4. I would say he's a very, very caring person, and this is really important to his personality. So these are a few things that I would use to describe this fine gentleman here. How would you guys describe yourself? How would you draw yourself? Perhaps you wouldn't draw yourself in your school uniform. Maybe you would. Maybe you draw yourself with items that you really, really like. What I'd like you to do is pause the video and draw yourself, and then use that image to show your identity. If someone were to look at it, could they identify the things that are most important to you? So pause the video and give that a go for me. Our last piece of work here is to explain how identity affects you. So we need to think about times when you might not want to reveal your identity. So some people are very proud and they're happy to just tell everybody everything about themselves. But not everybody. Some people don't want to share a lot of information. So I'm going to give you an example of a time where you might not want to share your personality. So imagine that you are a Saints fan and you're wearing your team shirt in Portsmouth. Maybe that's a time where, if you're the only person who's a Saints fan, you want to hide that identity. Not that it's not important to you, but you also perhaps don't want trouble. And it's not something that everybody needs to know all the time. It's important to you, but it's not so important that everybody needs to know about it all the time. I would like you to think about opportunities when you might not want to reveal your identity. So you don't need to say what those identities are if they're really important to you, or you don't want to share them, but just think of times when maybe you're out with other people or new people, you think, actually, I don't want to show this part of my identity right now. So pause the video and jot down some ideas for when you would not want people to know what identity you have. Our last idea here is when and why would you be proud to show your identity? So are there perfect opportunities where you can say, yes, that's part of me, I worked really hard at that, and I know that everybody here would be proud of me, and I'm happy to share that. So I'm very proud to say that I work the best job ever. And I'm really happy and really proud to show off to people that I am a teacher and I teach amazing children, and I've had the opportunity to work with amazing adults and I've met amazing parents. And that's when I'm really proud to say to people, I teach, and that's a big part of my identity. Can you think of any for yourself? When and why would you be proud to show off aspects of your identity? So maybe some you don't show, and then this time, when you're just happy to say, this is me, and this is a huge part of my life. Thank you very much, Year 4. I'm looking forward to reading as many of these as possible. You've got this. Stay safe, and we will speak again soon. Bye.